Well, hi, welcome back. I'm John Trent, and thanks for coming this far in the journey of the book. You've already looked at what is the blessing. We're to choose to what? Add life to others, to move towards them, and to add the blessing. We're to add to their life, to treat them like they're valuable. Well, how do you do that? Well, you've just finished several chapters learning about those 5 elements of the blessing. 5 things, simple but incredibly powerful things that can be transformative in a relationship and really connect us with others. So that ought to be it, right? We should just close in prayer, close the book, and go do it. And yet there's a problem, I think. In a fallen world, or actually I know, in a fallen world there are things that are blessing blockers. In other words, there are things that even though we now know what to do, well, why is it we don't do it? Well, I think part of the reason why we don't add to each other's life and that we subtract so much is because a lot of us grow up, unfortunately, with some degree of hurt and pain. And when somebody hurts us, what can happen is in our life, things can get kind of knotted up. Like me, I grew up in a single-parent home, and my dad bailed out when we were 2 months old. And when I used to hate my dad. And then I became a Christian, and I just intensely disliked him. And actually, I was finally able to really forgive him and realize, I had always loved him. But you know what? Frankly, I was so angry with him for a long time. My life was knotted up. And when your life's all full of knots from hurts from the past, guess what you're not free to do? 1 John tells us that if we hate our brother, we're walking in darkness. We're all just knotted up inside. Well, that's what these next 5 chapters are going to really talk about as you look at 5 homes that withhold the blessing. 5 homes that all too commonly can leave a person knotted up inside. But even more important, you got to hear this, okay? Even more important than what is it that can cause us to be knotted up inside. At the end of this section, what you'll learn about is how can you reverse the curse. Well, that's so important because when we do get knotted up, I remember one lady just almost screaming in a counseling center at me and saying, "I will never forgive my dad. I will overcome him." Well, what a joke. You really think you can out-anger some tough things that happened in the past? See, what she was doing without realizing it was saying, "I'm going to hate him even more. I'm going to make his life more miserable." And all she was doing was tightening the knot. Well, when you get to the end of this section, you're going to learn how in a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, you can learn to do something. It's what the Bible calls luo. That's a Greek word for, guess what? Forgiveness. That's what it literally means to forgive someone. The literal word luo for forgiveness means to untie the knot. How cool is that? Well, that's what this section is all about. Not just the things that can knot us up in life, but also how do you reverse the curse and how do you untie those knots so that we're free to bless. So dig into this section. It's not always the easiest one. We have a lot of people that are praying for you and for all those that are going to be reading the book and learning about the blessing. So hang in there, even if this brings back memories and is kind of challenging for you, because freedom and the ability to accept Christ's blessing and give it to others lies on the other side. Lord bless you, and we'll see you in the next section.